This is Valley News Live at 4.
Breaking news this afternoon. We're learning new disturbing details on a Northern Valley murder turned manhunt today. 44-year-old Eric Reinbold has been officially charged with intentional second-degree murder as well as second-degree murder in the death of his wife, Lisette Reinbold. Court documents filed today say when first responders arrived at the Reinbold home on July 9th, they found an unresponsive woman. EMTs say a boy on a bike told them his mom was laying on the ground. Documents say the woman had a puncture wound on her neck and near her jaw. Documents reveal a possible motive, saying tension-filled text messages were found between Lisette and Reinbold going back to March. They say texts in the days leading up to the homicide show Reinbold accusing Lisette of cheating, demanding sex, and fighting over finances. An autopsy revealed Lisette suffered multiple sharp force injuries to her neck, torso, and upper extremities. New information for you now in a case we first brought to you on Friday. An 11-year-old is fighting for his life after police say he was brutally beaten in a home late last week. Fergus Falls police were called to the 1100 block of South Mill Street on Thursday for a child with a head injury. Officers say the boy was on the couch unresponsive when they arrived with bruises and fresh cuts on his face. Reggie Bethel is charged with first-degree assault, malicious punishment of a child, and child endangerment. Doctors told officers the child had significant trauma, which was likely not accidental. Court documents say Bethel initially lied to investigators about what happened, but later admitted to getting frustrated with the child, hitting his head against the wall and kicking him. If convicted, Bethel faces up to 35 years in prison. The 11-year-old was airlifted to a Fargo hospital where court documents say he has a traumatic brain injury. Now here's Hutch with the first look at your forecast. Hutch.
Stacey, thanks. Good Monday, everyone. As we begin the work week with a little bit of a break in the smokiness. Now notice this milky white haze that you see here across the map. The bright white is cloud cover, but the milky haze is that smoke moving into the northern shores of the Lake Superior area. Now we do have a smattering of smoke across parts of western Minnesota, so we do have areas with poor air quality. And notice another hazy plume heading through Winnipeg, heading in towards our northern counties. You may see an increase as well, but a look at our visibilities right now shows most of us with some improvement over the thick smoke that we had through the entirety of our weekend across the area. Now the air quality alert continues until Tuesday at 3, but part of me thinks that may be extended as we'll be battling smoke in our extended forecast. Temperatures tonight in Fargo dropping off from the low 80s into the 60s overnight. Quiet weather here, and south winds keeps the smoke chances here low. Now up in Grand Forks, notice you'll have a north wind at times. You may have some hazy and smoky skies mixing in. More on that in a minute. Stacey, we're going to talk about something good. A couple of chances of rain in the extended forecast this week. And again, not everybody will see them, but at least we'll have that chance of some beneficial rainfall in the forecast. We'll go over that in a minute.
All right. Thanks so much, Hutch. Fire officials in Wadena County have not yet released the names of the two found dead in a tragic house fire yesterday morning. Officials say that fire happened just before 4 in the morning in section 32 of Wadena Township. Emergency crews say when they got to the home, they found a child outside with minor burns. 2 people were found inside the home. They were later pronounced dead at the scene. The cause of the fire still has not been determined. After 2 years and multiple setbacks, the trial for Chad Isaak is beginning. Isaak is accused of murdering 4 employees at RJR, a property management company in Mandan, in April 2019. The event shook the community and impacted hundreds of lives in North Dakota. A motive has never been discovered. The trial is scheduled for 3 weeks. The judge expects jury selection to last 2 days and evidentiary proceedings to begin August 4th. Eventide is requiring all employees to complete the COVID-19 vaccination series by October 1st. New employees are also required to have the vaccine as part of the new hire process. The president and CEO is citing rising cases and the Delta variant as the reason. Eventide facilities in Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo report more than 75% of employees are already vaccinated, but many rural long-term care facilities in our region have a lower participation rate. President Biden receives a briefing this afternoon from members of the White House COVID-19 response team as the virus continues to surge. The U.S. recorded more than 194,000 new cases in a single day on Friday, the most since late January, but there is progress on the vaccine front. The White House says 7-day average of newly vaccinated people in the U.S. is the highest since July 4th. Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
The White House says it's reached a goal it originally had hoped to achieve by the 4th of July. 70% of U.S. adults with at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine.
We have the most important tool to get through this pandemic, and that is a vaccine. It's saving lives, and it can save more lives if we can just accelerate our vaccination rates, which is already happening, which is good news.
The increase in vaccinations comes as new data shows COVID-19 hospitalizations have tripled nationwide since last month, mostly because of the highly transmissible Delta variant and those who still refuse to get vaccinated.
We are seeing more severe disease.
Missouri is one of the hardest hit states. Doctors there say they're seeing more kids with COVID.
Some patients are being admitted to the intensive care unit.
The Delta variant now accounts for 82% of all U.S. cases. In Florida over the weekend, cars lined up at vaccination sites as the state hit its highest single-day total with more than 21,000 new cases reported Saturday.
The CDC changed its mask guidance last week after new evidence showed that even vaccinated people can still spread the virus.
For people like me who are parents who have unvaccinated children at home, it's an especially helpful step that we can take to help protect those of us, who have family members who are vulnerable still.
In light of the new CDC guidance, Target announced it will require workers in high-risk areas to wear masks and strongly encourage shoppers to do so as well. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Target is the latest big box retailer to take steps to protect workers and customers from the virus. Walmart announced it's mandating vaccines for all of its non-retail workers. Starting tomorrow, the University of Minnesota is again requiring masks indoors. The school says because of the Delta variant, the university will require masks indoors on campus. They add they're not requiring students to be vaccinated before coming back this fall. Meanwhile, vacationing in the UK just got a lot easier for fully vaccinated Americans. The British government changed its restrictions over the weekend. CBS's Ian Lee explains.
It's an emotional reunion for families at London's Heathrow Airport. For many, they've been separated for almost 2 years by an ocean and pandemic.
Oh, amazing. Surreal.
Amazing. Really surreal. It's a big day. It's a big day.
Fully vaccinated Americans can now travel to the UK without having to quarantine. Many arriving here sum up being able to see family and friends again in a single word: awesome.
I'm pregnant with my in-laws' first grandchild, so it's really exciting to finally be able to be here and share that news with them.
All that's now required is a COVID test before flying and a PCR test 2 days after arriving. You'll also need to show your CDC vaccination card at the airport as proof you've been fully vaccinated. Officials hope the cards become the ticket to traveling more.
We're showing that the vaccine is our passport to freedom.
Freedom to fly into the arms of your loved ones once again. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
And late last month, the White House said it currently has no plans to change the existing travel ban that makes it difficult for British and EU citizens to visit the U.S. A new study from Stanford Health shows educating football coaches and players about concussions pays off. Researchers followed more than 100 youth football players over the course of 7 years. They found the number of head impacts fell dramatically by the end of the study, about 75%. The investigators say an increased awareness and training on concussions is likely responsible for the decrease. Devastating news for Colts fans. Former Bison quarterback Carson Wentz will have to sit out the start of the NFL season next month. Wentz is expected to be out 5 to 7 weeks after having surgery for a foot injury. Yesterday was the start of a new option in North Dakota: Sunday morning alcohol sales. August 1st was the first Sunday stores could legally sell alcohol before noon. Stores are now allowed to open at 8 a.m. on Sundays. Supporters say the change was a reflection of what stores have gone through in the past year.
Considering how that industry was so greatly affected by COVID, and they had their occupancy restricted, they even had hours restricted. So I thought this was actually just a way to even help out.
Supporters hope the new law gives businesses more freedom in their operations and that they're able to cash in on any last-minute beer runs for Sunday sporting events. The bill had a bumpy road to becoming a law. It failed on the first vote in the Senate, but later gained a razor-thin margin of support in both chambers. Many families are taking advantage of the United Way's backpack distribution that started today. The United Way was able to collect their goal of 6,000 backpacks thanks to the help of the community. The backpacks are filled with many different school supplies just in time for the upcoming school year.
Asking for help can sometimes be challenging for families, so by having our distribution of the backpacks allowing families to stay in their vehicles keeps this process confidential for them and makes it easy and keeps them safe too. Backpacks and school supplies can be picked up today through Thursday at Shields Arena. For
from 4:30 to 6 on Monday and Wednesday and 11:30 to 1 on Tuesday and Thursday. You can find more details on our website, valleynewslive.com. Biles is back after pulling away from several Olympic events last week. Simone Biles will be back competing tomorrow. What you can expect from the athlete is still to come on Valley News Live at 4.
And we have turned the page into the month of August. Thick as smoke right now down to the south. Take a look at this. We ended July in Grand Forks as the #1 driest July on record at only 42 hundredths, or 3 inches below average for this time of the season. Now Fargo, 11th driest on record. We'll have details on at least a chance of some drops from the sky right after this.